violently demanding info on vehicle trackers and bank pins. And it all ends with isolation. The victim is tied up and just abandoned in a remote place. For John, it was the middle of a pineapple farm.
The physical violence is absolutely horrific, but the psychological terror, that's just as brutal. While they were holding him captive, one of John's attackers taunted him with that chilling line. It's a threat that's just designed to completely break a person.
And John's case is not an isolated one, not by a long shot. You can see a terrifying pattern start to emerge here. So John Mina was ambushed by that decoy. But look at Nicholas Mongi. He was strangled from behind with a wire by his own passengers. And another driver, who was working for an investor named Rafael Karaoke, was attacked in the exact same way. The method is chillingly consistent. Get into the car, use a wire to choke the driver from the back seat, and then take complete control.
But you know, just escaping the attackers is only the first ordeal. For these drivers, a whole second nightmare begins the moment they try to get help. They find themselves totally lost in a system that feels like it's designed to frustrate them, not to help them.
Just look at this timeline of John's experience. It shows you exactly what that frustration looks like. He calls the police within an hour of the attack. 5 hours later, they tell him to find his own way to the station. When he finally manages to get there, he gets bounced to a second station because of jurisdiction issues. It's not until 9 hours after the attack that he finally reaches a third station where they agree to circulate his car's details. By then, that critical window to recover the vehicle, it's pretty much slammed shut.
Rafael Karaoke, the investor whose driver was a victim, he sums up this whole systemic failure perfectly. This isn't just some delay. It's a huge window of opportunity that's handed directly to the criminals. It's time they use to disable trackers and just disappear.
But you know, faced with all this inaction, the drivers are not staying silent. No way. They're organizing, they're demanding accountability, and they're fighting back for their right to just be safe on the job.
So, united by the shared trauma, all these different digital taxi organizations have joined forces. They've taken their case directly to Kenya's National Transport and Safety Authority, basically escalating their fight from individual pleas for help to a huge collective demand for real systemic change.
And their demands are super specific and really powerful. First, they want the ride-hailing platform Bolt to be forced to produce the passenger data linked to these hijackings. Second, and this is a major escalation, they're calling for Bolt's operations to be suspended across the entire country until these criminals are actually caught and prosecuted. And finally, they're demanding compensation for the drivers who have lost their livelihoods, their health, and their peace of mind.
So this brings us right to the core of the whole issue, the search for justice. In this tangled mess of crime and technology and systemic failure, who is ultimately responsible for protecting these drivers? Where does the buck stop?
You know, a carjacking might be over in just a few minutes, but the consequences are absolutely